zone?
Oh, that's a whole question too. That's not so simple. Halachically, you're supposed to follow 65.
It's how people operate. So you want to like slow down the traffic and like everyone's zooming by at 75. You don't have to drive 65. You can drive 75 with everyone else. It's the law as it's practiced in the land. It's not just the law in theory as it is on the books.
There is an Indian to always like, you know, with the majorities doing something, like you can like slip in with them. You know, it's like, I think the example that's given is people are coming, you know, late to shul. Like the majority of your community comes. Everybody's coming late. Let's say everybody in your community comes late to shul. Davening is supposed to start at 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gets there before 7:10.
Right.
So the question is, you know, let's make it a better example.
Think of one with Goyish law.
Now, how about this one?
Cheating on taxes.
Now, how about this one?
Yeah.
The last moment to daven mincha, let's say, is 5:30. No, we're going to change the clock. It's 5:30. That's the latest you're allowed to daven mincha halachically.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no minyan at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody, you know, for drays to get ready, or they come late, and so they don't daven until 5:40. What's better to do? Daven by yourself at 5:30 or daven with these idiots at 5:40?
Oh, that's a machlokas.
Right. But what's the shita? I mean, what's the thinking on both?
Well, you can explain it.
Well, the thinking on it's better to daven with them. It's not just that it's a minyan. It's like, it's better to be going the wrong way, but you're with everybody, than stand out doing something wrong. Right? Because when you stand there by yourself, you're like, you just gave up a chance to be with a minyan. Right? You elected not to be part of that. So it's like you're separated yourself from the hall. You like slap them all with.
Do not separate yourself from the community. Basic Jewish teaching.
Right, like you separated from yourself from the community, and you slapped them all with the Rasha stick. You said, "You guys are all no good. I'm better than you," and you went and did your thing. It's better to follow the rest of them,
yeah.
Right? You know, and it's like, okay, you know why? Because at least you are part of the community still.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the sheet of wait till 5:40 till everybody's there.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm thinking like that could be like the same thing. Like, you know, everybody's driving
75.
so you're just like
gonna 65.
You're like gonna do the same thing as them. You know, and maybe like that you can use that as a backup. But din machusadina means when it says 65 on the sign, you have to follow 65 on the sign. I'll tell you something that Rabbi Sauer said. You know, he's here. You know, the Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi Sauer. He said, and I heard him say this. It gives me the willies because I always follow this. A lot of people have a habit when they walk on Shabbos or whatever, they will like cut through a parking lot because like you can save time walking to shul.
Yeah.
Like there's a bank parking lot. I don't know if you've seen like there's a bank.
A lot of bank parking.
There's like a bank parking lot. You know, if you're like 2 streets and it's in between, there's a bank. You just like cut through the bank parking lot, or like there's a gas station at the corner. I'll cut through the gas station. I can save steps on the way to shul. Rabbi Sauer said you're not allowed to do that at all. Don't even think about it.
Why?
It's not yours. You're trespassing. That's a sagas kavul. You can't do that. That's geneva. It's a form of stealing. That somebody's paid for that parking lot for usage at that bank. You walk on that and you're not going to that bank. You're stealing from the people who own that property. And now it doesn't help that you're going to shul. That's not even it's not an option.
Also, there are many laws that have been passed by the rabbis over the past few thousand years that the community has just rejected. So, like the klal, the community, has a vote. Like the simple people often have more wisdom about various halachot than do the rabbis.
What are you talking about? Give me an example.
Well, rabbis have always come out with takanot, and often the community just ignores them. I'll give you an example. Like the 3 modern Orthodox rabbis here in Pico Robertson try to come out with this ethics certification for businesses in Pico Robertson. They went around to these businesses and said, "Hey, you need to get our ethics certification, and we're going to advise our congregants that they should, you know, patronize businesses that have our ethics certification on it, and we want to
Okay,
show
I
that
can answer.
we're being. Let me finish.
But I gotta-
that
okay.
we're being really, honest in business, because with all these scandals of Jews being dishonest in business, we want to show how honest we are in business. And everybody ignored it. None of the businesses wanted anything to do with it. It was obviously just this PR exercise cooked up by the rabbis.
Okay.
And everyone ignored it, and it counts for nothing.
Okay, can I tell you what the difference is?
Go ahead.
Okay. That's a local set of rabbis in an area that has many different communities combined. Right? If a rabbi who is not my direct rabbi, right? And there is no one rabbi of this town.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, oh, LA is under the jurisdiction of this Rav. There's no one Rav here in LA. Right? There's many rabbis here in LA.
Though there is one dominant one for non-Hasidic Ashkenazi Jewry, and that's Rabbi Gershon Bess. Rabbi Bess is the dominant rabbi for non-Hasidic.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I would say the chances are, in my mind, who the big ones would be Rabbi Teichman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably bigger than Rabbi Bess here.
No, I think Rabbi Bess could totally take Rabbi Teichman, but...
Really? I think that he... and Rabbi Sauer. I think those are your big non-Hasidic ones.
Well, Rabbi Bess runs the RCC.
Yeah, but if you don't hold by the RCC, what do you care?
I know, but the RCC is the dominant dog in town.
I don't think so. I think I still... When it comes to... you know what? There's just so many dogs. Because there's the Kahila, which is very big, and it's combined, even with KSA, and they're big. And I just think that there's a lot of different... based Dayanim, and there's a lot of different stuff going on. So, if some rabbi here in town, and I don't care who he is, came to me and said, do you want this XYZ thing, it doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, that's not the same as, let's say, all the Gedolim in America went through every community, signed on something, and this is the letter that they signed, and they all got together on it. That would mean something to me. So when you just said, oh, all through history, rabbis make takanas and nobody listens to them, that's not, you misinterpreted that. A rabbi in one specific town may poskin something, and people outside of that town who don't follow that rabbi don't follow it. But people in that town certainly did. It's not for them to argue against. Judaism is not in the hands of...
The Am Haaretz.
It's not in the hands of the average guy. It's in the hands of the rabbis.
Well, read the works of Rabbi Mark B. Shapiro.
Oh, no. That guy, I read... please.
And he's got a great lecture for Torah in Motion on Rabbi Elijah Bena Mozeg, Benamozegh. And this Rabbi Elijah says that often the simple people who aren't in yeshiva or day studying Torah have a lot more moral wisdom about what laws should be observed and not observed, and often the simple people ignore the rulings of those who study Torah or days, and often it's for the good. So often the simple
Can I
people
just say
have
something?
more moral wisdom than the rabbis who like study Torah all day.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
That is pure apicorsis.
Okay.
That is pure heresy, and it's total ignorance. That is just the opposite of Judaism. Oh my God.
Like all the Gedolim were against Zionism, but like the simple people went out and created a Jewish state.
And it's can I leave now? Can I leave now? Folks, please. This is why we call it Torah Talks with Rabbi Rabbs and heretical nonsense with Levi. Both of these points. I don't want to know who the names of these guys on your website. I don't want to know the names of them, but this is pure, unadulterated. This is what heresy looks like. This is what heresy sounds like.
You look at heresy in the dictionary, you'll see my picture.
Yeah, you look up here. The idea that it's a good idea to, when the rabbis talk, to ignore them, and
sometimes,
and that we have more morals.
Sometimes.
This is the opposite of Judaism. Torah says, it's one of the 613, that you follow your rabbis, you follow the Gedolim Mador, you follow the big sages of your generation, and you do not turn to the right or to the left. You follow them. This is one of the 613, and you don't start deciding things on your own, and you don't say, oh, I don't trust this rabbi's morals, and I'm just going to do it my own way. That is, lehefech, that's the opposite of Judaism, and that is just total heresy. And